Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. My apologies for being a few minutes behind. If you're watching the replay, let me know by putting hashtag replay. But I got caught up in doing the finishing touches on today's workshop. So if you don't know, tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, I am hosting a 2-hour workshop titled the 30-Day Literature Review Workshop. I keep things simple over here, but it's where I teach you how to write from start to finish your literature review in 30 days or less. So I'm going to be doing that tonight. You can get 50% off by going to the link in the bio and claiming that. So what that includes is the 2-hour workshop is going to be recorded. It comes with a workbook. I give you tips on how to organize yourself. I tell you how to get started, how many articles to start with, how to read those articles, how to organize your notes for them, how to start your first few pages and keep that going until you have a solid 20 to 30 page draft of the literature review. I also give you a 30-day detailed plan so you know exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And if that wasn't enough, for 50% off, you also get access to our weekly dissertation calls. There's 2 calls every week, every Thursday and every Sunday. Thursday is kind of like what happens tonight. I'm going to teach something or I'm coaching people. Sunday is when we plan and when we write and we hold each other accountable. And you'll get access to that for the month of August. And you can get all of that for $50 by going to the link in the bio, which is 50% off. But today, I wanted to talk to you about some of the common mistakes that I've seen folks do in the literature review. I don't even think I introduced myself. So if you are new to me, hi, I'm Dr. Marvette Lacy. I work with doctoral students to write their dissertations in 12 months or less. I'm not saying you need to do yours in 12 months or less, but I'm saying if you really want to be done, let's get it. And I'm going to talk about literature reviews because that's usually where people tell you to begin in the dissertation process. I don't agree, but I'm also not trying to come in between you and your chair, all right? Because I want you to be finished. I don't want you to have unnecessary arguments. So I've been doing this for a very long time, I feel like. I originally started around 2015, 2016, helping my friends out with their dissertation and understanding qualitative research. It is just something that came really naturally to me. And then in 2017, I officially launched my business and I've been working with doctoral students ever since. At this point, I need to do an updated count, but we're around 45 doctors created who have finished using either programs, podcasts. I put out a lot of resources, y'all, because I just want you to win. Like, it is only 2 to 3% of the world's population who become doctor, and it's of that 2 to 3%, it's only 2 to 3% that look like us. Okay, so I want to get that number up because y'all didn't put y'all good time and money into this process. And even if you don't care about it, because at that point I was like, girl, I don't care about this degree, but I'm gonna finish it because I put too much time into it. If that is you, let's get it. Okay, are you asking me where you would start in the literature review? I'm going to go through some mistakes and then I definitely will answer your questions. So let me know. So number 1, the first mistake that I see, I've been doing this for years, y'all. But the first mistake, and if you see me looking over here, it's because my notes is over here and I want to keep myself on track. So you thought this was going to be easy. Now I'm going to come at you. If you don't know me, listen, get your water, get your castor oil because I'm coming for you. You thought this was going to be easy. You thought it was going to be a cakewalk to become somebody's doctor. You thought like, well, I've been to school all this time. I got this degree. I got this master's. I got this undergrad. How much harder could a PhD or EDD or whatever your letter, a PsyD, how much harder could it be? And maybe you like, okay, I got through classes. That wasn't bad. Maybe you thought classes was going to be the hard part. And then you walked your way on over to either your comprehensive exams or your dissertation. And I'm going to try to keep the cussing down to a minimum, but you fucked around and you found out real quick that it is not as easy as you thought it was going to be. I get that people tell you, well, it's just a book. It's just a 200-page book. It's just 5 pages or papers strung together. And that's absolutely true. It's absolutely true that it is that simple. But just because something is simple doesn't mean it's easy. And if you have made your way over here to my side of the internet, then you most likely got through your classes pretty well. Like, sure, was it probably a lot of reading? Did you have a few assignments that you were like, ooh, I don't know about that? But if I was to really talk to you, like if we was having drinks, I know it's Thursday morning, but if we was having drinks with somebody's brunch and I was to ask you to really tell me about your school process, you got through it fairly easily, because there's no way that you made it this far into your school journey and school didn't come somewhat easy to you. So that's number one. So then you mistakenly thought that then this dissertation was going to be easy. And you really thought the literature review was going to be easy because, I mean, you wrote a few probably in your classes, but it's something about this particular literature review that you like, what happened? What's going on? And the first mistake is you thought it was going to be easy. And what I want to ask you is, just because something is challenging, just because it's hard, why do you think something has gone wrong? Why do you think something is wrong? Because you're having a hard time doing it, because it feels hard, because it feels uncomfortable. Why do you think something is wrong? Most of the time what I see is people think it's something wrong with them, that they're not doing enough, or they don't care enough, or they're like, I just need to get myself together. Number one, what does that mean? But what if it's not about you needing to get yourself together? What if it's not about you not wanting it enough? What if it's just hard? What if it's just hard, y'all? Like, when was the last time you had to do something that was hard and challenging? Because if it was easy, y'all, it would be more than 2 to 3% of the world's population being called doctor. If it was easy, you decided to become a professional at education. Like, these are the pros. This is the league. That's what you stepped into. Why did you think it was supposed to be easy? Not everybody who picks up a basketball can go to the NBA. This is your version of the NBA. Why did you think it was going to be easy? So let's just accept, let's all embrace that it's going to be hard, and it's okay. It doesn't mean anything has gone wrong. So that's number one. Number two, you do not like the research process, beloved. You don't like it. You like what it gives you. You like the clout that it brings you. Like, you're probably more interested in becoming like, to hear people call you doctor, to hear people say like, oh, I really love, that was a dope dissertation. Oh, you got the Dissertation of the Year award, or that was the best literature review I ever written. That's what you're more interested in. You don't like the actual process, though, of researching and writing. Like, listen to me what I'm saying. Most of you are so focused on, how do I get done? How do I just get to the end? I just want this over with. It feels like something on my back that's weighing me down. I just want to be free. But in the same breath, you're the same person who's like, but I'm going to be somebody's faculty. Yeah, I'm going to go to an R1 school and I'm going to teach the people and do all my research. But you don't even like the process. Like, I want you to make it make sense for me. You don't like it. You don't like the reading of the articles. You don't like the writing. You don't like submitting your writing for feedback and sifting through feedback and really engaging with people who gave you feedback. Like, you don't even want to look at it. Most of y'all won't even look at the document. You won't even open your document that somebody took their good time and energy out to provide you feedback. You won't even look at it. And listen, this is no shade. If you don't like it, you know what I want for you? I just want you to tell yourself the truth. I just want you to be truthful, because when you can be honest with yourself, it makes this process easier. Because if you know that you are someone who's like, no, I don't like it, you know what I'm going to encourage you to do? Then put the words on the page and move on. Stop trying to make it a perfect literature review or a perfect dissertation. You don't even like this process. So why do you keep trying to make it more challenging and more involved and more in depth if you don't even like it? Get what you came for. Look, I am not trying to throw shade on anybody who's like, yeah, I want to stun these hoes. I want them to call me doctor. Yes, be honest. But if you know that's that's all you came to get, then stop trying to make this dissertation something that you don't even want it to be. If you don't like this process, if you for real don't want to be a researcher, I'm going to encourage you to do something different. Y'all, how come every time I go live, this is when people want to cut grass and clean the streets. So if y'all hear that, my apologies, but I'm just like, what is going on? I've been sitting here for hours and nobody did nothing. All right. But here's the thing, I really want y'all to think about, why are you getting this degree? Don't think about the answer you told the people during the admissions process. Why do you really want to be doctor? It does not have to be this very deep reason. It could just simply be, I want people to call me doctor. I want them to have to choke on them words whenever they refer to me. Call me doctor. Because if that's the truth, let's do that. And stop and let's just put some words on this literature review. Let's just put words on a dissertation. The people gonna say what they gonna say, but they gonna sign the paperwork and you can be done. And stop lying to yourself and to those people that you want to be somebody's faculty when you don't like the process. I know this is not everyone. Some of y'all really do enjoy the process. You can't wait to do this as your full-time career. Most of you don't, though. And I get that you're around other people who make it seem so they glorify being somebody's tenure track professor. Now, I'm going to go on a rant about that later because there's no shade to those people, but most of them don't like it either. But they like being at the conferences and being like, I published this and I did this. They're lying. Most of them are sad. Most of them are depressed. Most of them are burnt out. They don't even enjoy it. So while you're over here listening to somebody lie to you and you think that's what you need to do because you're looking for the attention, for the validation, I'm going to encourage you to go find that somewhere else. Give it to yourself. What makes me different than other dissertation coaches is yeah, you're going to finish your dissertation, but it is not about to come at the cost of how you treat yourself. You do not have to betray yourself emotionally, physically to be somebody's doctor. What that means is you don't have to burn yourself out. You don't have to be so depressed and so anxious to become a doctor. You don't have to do academia in that way. I need y'all to take a hard look at those people that you follow on Twitter, or those people you can't wait to see at conferences, or those people you cite over and over and over. I want you to take a good look at them. Are they happy? Are they leading a life that you want to live? Go beyond the publications and the awards and the grants. Are they living a life that you want to live? Do they seem happy? Do they seem rested? Or they always saying, oh, it's another project, or oh, I can't do this. Because I want you to think about that, because if that is all you're surrounding yourself with, and you think, and you're trying to literally kill yourself to be that, I'm asking you why. What is it that you're trying to get? What's the goal here? So the number 2 mistake, because I'm getting off track, is that you don't love the process. And if you can be honest with yourself about why you're doing this process, it'll take the pressure off. You don't have to love it. You don't have to be I'm your favorite researcher. No, just write the thing and be done. Okay, I'm going to come back to that later. Number 3. You expect to complete the literature review, the dissertation, what have you, in one day, one weekend. Now, I know I have testimonials on here that's yeah, so-and-so did this in a weekend, or so-and-so did this in a day. Yes, but that was after they got real with themselves and they were this doesn't have to be perfect. And I know that I'm probably going to have to edit this and get feedback on it. I'm not going to go to my next mistake. I'm going to come back to it though. The reason why you want to get done so quickly is because you think you're going to feel a certain way. You think that if you could write a perfectly written literature review or dissertation in a weekend, that instantly you're going to feel lighter. You're going to feel less anxious. You're going to feel respected. You're going to feel so confident. You think that the reason why you don't feel like you're legitimate enough, or you're good enough, or you're confident is because you don't have those letters. When I'm here to tell you, I was just about to go on a rant, there are so many people with the letters, with all the things you think you need, and they still are not confident. They still question everything that they put out. Y'all, I coach these people regularly. My friends are these people. Just because I'm not officially in higher ed doesn't mean I left the world. When I go to conferences especially, and I'm listening to your favorite, I'm talking about your favorites, the people you stand. Those, when I'm talking to them, most of them, y'all, still have imposter syndrome. Still worry about if people are going to understand what it is that they put out. They still worry about if they're going to get published or not. That doesn't go away just because you got letters, you finish your dissertation, because that is an inside job. Nothing externally is going to give you that level of confidence and peace and validation you're seeking. Because how many degrees have you achieved? You accomplished. How many goals have you achieved? How many things that you like, yeah, this is going to be it. Like, once I do this, or once I get this, or once I make this certain amount of money, that's going to be it. How many times have you done it and you still don't feel the way you thought you were going to feel? How many times do you achieve a goal and you get to the other side and it's like, man, that's not it? But you may be mistakenly thinking like, oh, maybe the goal wasn't big enough. Maybe it wasn't hard enough. Maybe I need to go do X, Y, Z. And you're going to keep doing this until you completely burn yourself out, or your body says, you know what, you need to sit down, you did too much. There's no amount of external validation, like from other people, from you achieving things, from degrees, from certification. There is no amount of external validation that can help you do what you have to do for you. I know I'm sounding real cliche, but it's true, y'all. It's cliche for a reason. Okay. Let the process be the process. Let it take the time it's going to take. If you're going to come and sign up for this 30-day literature review workshop, I am going to be talking to you about the different steps. You cannot skip from step 1 to step 10. I don't care how good you think you are. I don't care how much you think like, oh, I got it. Because listen, real talk, if you had it like that, you would be done. You wouldn't even be listening to me talk right now. And I'm saying all of this in love. You cannot skip the steps. Now, you can go through them quickly, but you can't skip them. See, y'all got me going. Okay, mistake number 4. You are focusing on making your writing perfect instead of progressing through the writing process, right? So going back to number 3, writing is a process. It's a practice. It's a process. That means you're going to put some words on the page. You're going to hate those words. You're going to be like, those words make no sense, but you're going to put them on a page anyway. And then you're going to send it to someone else. They're going to review those words. They're going to give you feedback on those words. Maybe they give you feedback on if it's clear or not. Maybe they give you feedback on the type of literature you included. Maybe they give you feedback on the organization of it. Because y'all, here's a side rant. Stop asking people to just look at your document without giving them clear instructions. What is it that you want them to do? When you're asking someone for feedback, what is it that you want them to do? Because just because you say, look at this, doesn't mean they know what you're talking about. A lot of you, the reason why you're not getting the feedback you think you need from your chair or whomever else is because you're not being clear about the type of feedback. Is it grammar? Is it mechanics? Is it APA? Is it organization? Is it structure? Is it about the content? Like, what is it that you want people to give you feedback on? Okay, and rant. Let me come back. So you're going to write something. You're going to hate what you write because the first draft is always shitty. You're going to give it to someone. They're going to review it based on your ask. They're going to give it back to you. You're going to rewrite it. You're going to send it back to someone else or to that same person. And I want you to expect that you have to go through that process at least 5 times before you get to a draft or something that you're like, I mean, that's good. It's going to be good enough. I'm going to be done with it. I'm saying 5 times because I need you to have clearer expectations about what is required when you're writing something like a literature review or a dissertation. You have to be really comfortable with the writing process. Be really comfortable that you're going to write some words that are real shitty and somebody's going to tear those words up. Like, you're going to open up the document and all you're going to see is track changes. Like, what's happening? But the more that you can make peace with that, the more that you can stop saying that that's something personal about you. It ain't got nothing to do with you. It's about it's about the writing. And it's probably about that draft. Because you can go write something else and someone is like, oh, that's like you were in the zone, like you were feeling it, and it's not that much feedback. But listen, y'all, literature reviews, we do not have a good relationship, okay? But I respect the process. It's because I know that I don't want to write this literature review, that I'm going to put the words on a page. It makes me even more motivated. Put words on a page, any words on a page, and give it to somebody. Because I know the quicker I give it to someone and they give me feedback, the quicker then I have my next step. And the more I'm willing to keep doing this as many times as it takes. The 5 times. And then by the time that 5th time, I'm like, this is decent. I mean, I still don't love it, but it's decent, but it's done. You're so busy trying to make it perfect in your little 1 weekend getaway. You didn't spend all this money. You didn't got a cabin up in the mountains talking about you're going to have a writing retreat. You cut your phone off. Don't nobody call me. Don't nobody don't text me. Don't do nothing. No, I can't go out with you. I'm working. Only to get to that cabin in the mountains and sleep the whole weekend, or to watch TikTok or to watch TV all day and not write not one thing. Or you talk shit to yourself the whole weekend. Stop doing these marathon writing retreats, y'all. Let the process be the process. Focus on making progress in that process over like you have to have a perfect draft in a weekend. That's not how writing works. Even the most seasoned writers know that there's multiple drafts that have to happen. I was just talking to my friend TJ. He's like, listen, I know it's gonna be an R&R. We're gonna keep doing it. Yes. As someone who published like 14 articles in a 2-year span, yeah, like you just gotta be okay with the process, y'all. All right, number 5, and then I'll get to questions and coaching if y'all want. This is, I would argue, the most important and is what I spend the most time on inside of Qual Scholars. You don't believe it's even possible for you to become doctor. That is the number, that's the 5th mistake. It should have been number 1, but I needed to build my case before I got here. You don't believe it. And you think that if you can hustle, then you'll get to doctor. But there's no amount of hustle that's going to make up for a shitty mindset, for you not believing that it's even possible for you to become a doctor. Because listen, I think about this a lot. Like when you're smaller and like your mama told you y'all was going somewhere. I don't know, say like you're going to, like for me, growing up, this is not a true example, but I'm going to use it anyway. It's like you're going to go to Six Flags. I'm saying it's not a true example because I was terrified of roller coasters, but I did like going to Six Flags because I was going to be around like my family, but whatever. Like say we're going to Six Flags and I knew about this 2 weeks out. I'm anticipating it. I'm like, I'm going to get a funnel cake, right? I'm going to go to Bugs Bunny Land when that used to be a thing. I'm going to go to, I'm going to get to play the games. We're going to walk around the park. It's going to be a good time, right? I'm thinking about that 2 weeks. And so now I'm like in my mind, I'm planning my outfit. I'm like, I'm going to wear this hat with these shoes, right? I'm going to have on these shorts. I'm going to sit by so-and-so. I'm going to go to this part first. I'm going to do that, right? The anticipation makes me then plan for my trip to Six Flags. Because at no point am I thinking like it's not going to happen. No, my mama told me we were going. So I'm going to plan accordingly. And the same way that I would do that for Six Flags, I want you to do that for a doctor. If you really believe that you were going to finish this process, if you really believe that you could finish a literature review or finish your dissertation, you would plan accordingly. I'm not saying there's not real reasons as to why you don't believe it. I'm just saying, I'm staying right here right now. It's like working on your belief, like working on your mindset that I am going to be somebody's doctor. So if you're going to be somebody's doctor, what type of doctor do you want to be? If you are still like, I want to be, a tenure track professor, like how do you want to show up? Who does that person look like? Like, how do they make decisions? What do they do when they don't feel like writing? Because again, going back to my earlier point, most of y'all think that magically when you finish a dissertation and people are calling you doctor, that you're going to always feel motivated to write, that you're going to always feel motivated to do the research. You're not. It's just like everything else in life. You may love it. You may be like, oh, I can't get enough. And there's still going to be days when you don't feel like it. So what is the doctor version of you? What do they do when they don't feel like writing? How do they decide how to plan their week when they just like, listen, life is coming at me from all which way? What does that version of you do? Because if you can answer those questions, then you can start doing that now. You can practice being that person right now. But if you don't even believe that it's possible, then you won't even try to answer those questions and you won't plan and you'll just be stuck. You don't need necessarily a writing plan. You don't need an action plan. You don't need to just get yourself organized. Most of you just need to work on your belief around, do I think it's possible for me to become a doctor? And what type of doctor do I want to be? Okay, so let me go look at these questions. I'm sure I'm going to go off on more rants, but I appreciate y'all. Okay, you said you wouldn't start at the lit review. Where would you start the writing process? Okay, let me know if this is answering your question. I'm just going to go. So for the dissertation in general, I do not encourage people to begin at the literature review because you don't even know what let me back up. For me, a literature review is providing justification and context for your study. You have a particular topic. So let's say, what are the experiences of fifth grade science teachers, let's say, in the classroom? If you don't even know why you were drawn to that topic, why that topic is even important, how you plan to collect the experiences of those people, if you don't know that, how can you justify it? If you don't know what you're doing yet, if you don't even have a topic, you don't even have clear research questions, you don't have a clear focus, how can you justify it or provide context for it? So I am more of a fan of beginning with the introduction chapter, right? Because the introduction chapter is something that a reader could pick up, read the 10 to 20 pages, and have a very solid idea of what your research is about, like what the dissertation is going to entail. Most readers are not going to your literature review. Probably the only people who are going to go to your literature review is other doctoral students. That's for somebody who's going to catch that later. I would encourage you to begin with the introduction. Once you have a draft of the introduction, then I would say immediately go to your chapter 3, your methods chapter. That is what IRB cares about. IRB cares about, okay, how are you collecting data? What are you going to do with that data? Are you upholding ethics in that data collection process? That's what IRB cares about. That's what your proposal defense will be about. Chapter 1 and chapter 3. Rarely will people ask you about your literature review. Why? Because they know that the literature review doesn't come into play yet. They do want to know that you're basing your project off of literature, but you don't need to be so deep in the weeds of the literature because you don't know what you're justifying yet. So writing a draft, like a solid draft of a literature review, is great. It is only after you collect data, you start analyzing that data, you start interpreting, okay, what does this data mean, that the literature review comes into play. It is when you're writing like the interpretation and the discussion sections is where you need to know, okay, what is the literature? Because it is now that you have data, you're like, okay, this is what I found. This is what the people were telling me about being fifth grade science teachers. This is what they told me. This is how I'm understanding it. But this is what the literature has to say about it. And it is only when you get into the discussion section, interpretations, that you are making the connections between this is what I found, this is how I think about it, and this is what the literature says. That's when you know, like, oh, I need to go look at this theory, or I need to go look at this research article, or I need to talk about this particular topic, or I need to talk about this particular piece of legislation. That is only when you become very clear of, like, I know exactly what I need to talk about. So I do not think you need to spend your precious good energy right now trying to make a perfect literature review that you're going to have to rewrite anyway. I just want everybody to make peace with this right now. 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to rewrite your literature review when you get to the end of the dissertation. And I know that's real heartbreaking for some of you who are at the proposal, but what I want to tell you is when you get to the end of the dissertation, rewriting your literature review will not feel how it feels right now in this moment of me saying that to you. When you get to the end of the dissertation, you're like, oh, okay, bet. Let me go ahead and knock out and rewrite this literature review. No problem. Why? Because you see things, it's clearer. It's like, oh, I know exactly what I want to say. I know exactly how I want to say it. When you're writing a proposal, you're starting from scratch. You don't know what you want to say yet. You're still trying to figure it out. And so I don't think you need to spend a good time right now working on literature that you probably won't even include in the final version. Work on the actual research outline. What are you actually going to do? Because, y'all, I don't know. I haven't said this story in a while, but I feel like I didn't pass the defense because I was so focused on the literature review because that was all I knew how to do. And that I didn't know how to focus on the methods section because I was like, I haven't had classes yet. I don't know why they having me do this. My program had a process called publishable papers where you outline a study and you defend it and you collect data and you do all of that with the intent of publishing an article at the end of it. But I failed my proposal defense because I didn't know how to do the method section, and I focused all this time, my whole summer, on writing a literature review, only to get into that defense. And they didn't ask me any question about the literature review, and they were asking me questions about how I was going to collect data and why I was doing it this way, and why was I focusing on this population, and what did I hope to do with that. And I had no answers for them. And I felt that, and they were like, go try it again, rewrite this whole thing. And I felt like I wasted my whole summer. I was in tears. I hate crying in front of people. I was in tears in that defense. Like, I felt like I was set up because nobody told me. And I don't want you to be like that. I want you to like focus on the research part, get very clear on that, and trust yourself that you know the literature. Because, and this is the last thing I'll say with this question, because I'm going on rant after rant. You have most likely been reading. I haven't met a student yet that says, no, I haven't read anything. No, you probably been reading. You probably been spending all of your time reading. Like if I was to come to your house and look at your laptop and your computer, you probably have files everywhere. You probably have notebooks filled with quotes and citations, right? Y'all got y'all fancy apps and whatnot that y'all like organize. What is it like? I don't know. Don't even get me the line. But whatever the apps are that you organize your citations, because I'm real old school. I'm just going to put it on the paper or spreadsheet. I've got time to be learning the apps. That's how I get distracted. But if I was to come to your house, I'll probably see all of that. You probably printed out article after article. Like your whole floor is just littered with stack of papers that you read, but you don't remember. And you still haven't written your method section. You don't even know what your study is. And you're trying to prove to your chair, your advisor, that you're ready to defend. But like, truthfully, you don't know what you're defending. Okay, let me know if that helped with your question. How do I refer someone? Hi, Renee. I hope you're doing well. If you go to the link in the bio, they can sign up using that. Or if you want, I don't know if you're asking me if you want me to reach out, I could do that too. You can send me that information. How do you find enjoyment in the process? I love this question. Number one, let's go back to, why are you doing this? I asked this earlier, but I don't know if you were on here, but like, why are you doing this to begin with? Like, why did you enroll into a program, and why do you stay in that program? For a lot of you, answer the question, why are you staying in your doctoral program? You could leave. Like, you could leave, real talk. Like, you could leave. You could be like, I'm done. I won't do this. There are many people who do it, right? Because 50 to 60% of people don't make it past their exams. 50, 60% of people who enroll in the doctoral program at some point say, peace out. I'm good on that. Why are you staying? No, like, give a solid reason. Like, I don't care if it's what is the word I'm looking for? Like, if it's something that somebody else would care about, what is your reason? Why do you keep doing it? Most of what I hear is like, well, I put too much time and energy into this. I put too much money into it. Or I made this promise to myself that I was going to do it. Okay. If your answer is because I love research and I want to keep doing that, okay. Is the answer, I want a particular type of job. In order to get that job, I need to have this degree. Okay. Because once you know why you're doing it, why you're staying in, that's where the enjoyment comes out. For me, I got to the end of my third year and I was like, you know what? This is some absolute BS. And I'm over it. I don't want to do it anymore. Like, I don't want this anymore. I'm ready to quit. Like, I low-key tried to quit, y'all. I was like, listen, chair, it's been good. I don't want to do this anymore. And I'm going to be real with y'all. The reason why I didn't quit, I had nowhere to go. I had no money. I had no job. I was a full-time student at that point. And I did not have the energy to go find a job. So I was like, listen, girl, you here. You here. And since you here, you might as well do the process. And then I was like, okay, listen, I'm here. I'm going to need a different why more than like, this is my only option. So then I decided that my why was I wanted to show my two nieces that they could do something different than what they've seen growing up. It didn't have to be school. They don't have to become anybody's doctor, but I wanted them to see like not everyone, because most of my family hasn't even gone to college. Most of them hasn't even finished like high school. And that's not shade. We all got our different paths, but I wanted my nieces to know like you could do something different. And I want to be an example. I was also getting into, I was like, what's this online business world? What is that? well, I'm just going to like sit here, how these people pay this degree, and I'm going to do this little assistantship that's getting on my nerves, and I'm going to focus all of my extra time onto building a business. Now, you might be like, girl, did you have extra time while you're writing a dissertation? Yes, I did. Because the reason why I was able to keep my motivation going in the dissertation process is because I was learning about business. So what I would do is reward myself. I'm like, listen, if you can write 2 pages, you can watch this business training. That's how I rewarded myself. I even further was like, listen, we're going to go to our favorite coffee shop if you're from Athens. Not just for Jittery Joe's. I was like, I just forgot the name. Jittery Joe's or Starbucks or Panera Bread, which I should have put them in my acknowledgments as much as I was there. But that was my way. I'm like, I'm going to go out. I'm going to be with the people. And I'm going to make this this is my joy. I'm not going to stay in my house because I don't like that. I want to see outside. I want to be around people. I want to talk to them. But that's how I found joy. And I would watch business video, business training after training. Eric Thomas, if y'all know who that is, every day was in my ear. But I use it as a reward. It's like, I'm going to read this one thing and then I'm going to watch him yell at me. I'm going to write this thing and then he going to yell at me some more. Because he was talking at that time, 2015, he was finishing his PhD program. And I was like, this is motivating. But I use it as a reward. Because I wasn't getting, the rest of my friends were like, oh, I need to have this topic and it's going to be published here. And I'm going to go get this award and grant. I didn't care about none of that. I cared about building a business. And those people talk shit about me. I need to be clear. While I was doing this, people were talking shit about me. They were like, all you do is talk about business. All you do is trying to watch these people. That ain't even working out for you. You're not even making money. And now it's 2023 and those same people are in my DMs on my phone being like, now how do you do that again? I'm trying to do some consulting on the side. How you do it again? Okay, let me come back to your question about how to find enjoyment. You have to start with, why are you doing this? And based on that why, you have to be honest with yourself. And show up in the process based on that why. If your why is, I just want to get this done, are your actions saying that you just want to get it done? Are your actions you sitting down and just putting words on the paper and being willing to give that to someone for them to give you feedback on it? If you truly just want to be done, are you taking actions in the way of I just want to be done? Because, I think about Saturday morning, my mama waking me up to come clean the house or clean up my room. And I just want to be done with it. I'm throwing stuff in the closet, not too loud though, because I don't want to get yelled at, right? But I'm just okay, where do these clothes go? Let me fold it. Let me get it over with. Let me vacuum. Let me make my bed. Let me change my sheets. Let me just get it over with. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not second guessing. Did I make the bed just right? I'm not second guessing. Did I put my shoes in the closet the right way? I'm no. Did I put it up? She gonna yell anyway, so I might as well just do whatever. I just want to be done with it. Do you have that same energy about this literature review, the dissertation, or are you just saying it? Or are you just giving lip service to, you just want to be done? Do you really want to just be done? So, okay, let me know if that helped, because I feel like I went around the thing. Okay. I did the first draft of the literature. Okay, Julian. Okay, I did the first draft of the literature review and got the green light to proceed with a pilot study. New lit review, who this? Because I want to, Julie, if you could tell me, because I forgot when we first started talking about this at the beginning of the summer, about you in this literature review, what would you go back and tell that version of you? The version of you in April and May, who was I don't know if I could do this literature review, I'm questioning it. What would you go back and tell that version of you? Because now that you are on the other side of it, you have shown yourself that you could put words on a page and you got approval for the pilot study. What would you go back and tell yourself? This is an important question to answer for everyone, including Julian, because you're going to get to another part of the dissertation where you're I don't want to do this. This is so hard. And you can go back and well, I said this about the literature review. Could it also be true here? Something to think about that. Every school is different with different requirements. Do you develop a plan based on our current requirements? Yes. So Diana, how you doing? For me, when I'm working with students, I do ask them if their program has an actual program guide, because not every program does, but that's a whole nother conversation. If you have a guide, I ask to send it to me so I can review it. And therefore, I'm not telling you something that goes against those requirements. But what my superpowers are is helping you find a writing routine that works for you. Not a writing routine that your advisor told you to do or how the people in your program do it. A writing routine that works for you. One that does not stress you out, that does not have you spending 10, 20 hours in front of a computer straight without putting any words on the page. I am someone that's like, how do we do this in 10 hours or less? How do you write a whole chapter in 30 days or less by only working 10 hours or less each week? And most people, catch this, y'all, most people I work with are not working 10 hours a week. They got a solid 4 to 6 hours for me for their dissertation. Most of y'all are spending 4 to 6 hours each day. And I'm asking you to consider, what would it look like to work 4 to 6 hours a week and still make consistent progress? That is what I'm helping you do, Diane. It's like how to, your life, because I remember, I think you said you had girls, like your girls, you got a life to live. You are a person. You need to go outside. You want to be present for them. I want to show you how you can do all of that. Plus, we talked about your business idea, if I remember correctly, how to do that and finish a dissertation. Me talking earlier about how we use like business to reward myself. Y'all, I was doing a whole lot more in my business than I do right now. And I'm still writing that dissertation. I finished it from IRB application to me defending my dissertation was 3 months. Yeah, 3 months. Because January, February, April, March. Yeah, March. 3 months. And I'm still over here like, but I have to build a business though. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just saying this is why, because it's how I provide structure. Once you have a routine, then we take it requirement by requirement so you can make progress. The first call with me is just about like, here's your plan. This is what you're going to do. This is what we're going to work on for the next 30, 60, 90 days. After that, because you get 3 more calls with me one-on-one in the first month. After that initial call, we focus on what is stopping you from showing up. How much do you believe that you can become doctor? Why do you keep giving people your good time and energy that you don't care nothing about? Why are you doing the people pleasing? Why are you not taking care of yourself? How do you give yourself more guilt-free, shame-free days off? That's what I spend a lot of my time talking about. And you may feel uncomfortable with that at first, but it's because I care about you as a person. I already know you can be doctor. I already know you know how to do the requirements. What I don't think you have is probably someone in your life or a space in your life that is dedicated on what's happening up here. Do you believe you can do this? What happens after this process? Because y'all, a doctoral program is not the end of your journey. You got other things you want to do. And most of y'all are like, well, I want to be somebody's consultant or I want to be somebody's speaker. Let me plug my phone up before the battery goes out. Right. You want to be somebody's speaker. You want to write books. Yeah, you want to publish your research, but a lot of y'all want to write books. A lot of y'all like want to be on stages. And a side note, you don't need nobody's degree to do that. You can go do that right now. We got this internet. We on Beyonce's great internet. You could do that right now. People will pay you right now to do all that. You don't need letters to make you more legitimate. However, you do need space and community about like, okay, how do you get those ideas out? How do you start taking action towards your dreams? This dissertation, a doctoral degree, it might be one of your dreams, but it's not the dream. How do you start working on that now? Practicing being the person you want to become. Let me know, Diana, if you have other questions. To be far more concise with the reading and think about my unique contribution and do not wait until the last minute. Julie, like what if, for everyone, if you feel like you wait until the last minute, what if that's just your process? What if that's just how you work? What if, seriously, if you look back over how you've been showing up in school, does that work for you to wait until the last minute? What if we didn't demonize waiting until the last minute? What if you just accepted like, yeah, that's just how I work? Right? So something I do in my head, I'm like, yep, I give myself a deadline. I already know I'm going to wait until the end of that. Like I'm up on the deadline before I'm like, you know what? I probably should do that thing. And because I don't make that mean it's a problem about me or my work style, I'm like, because I know that, I may change the deadline, or I may just say, okay, let me make sure I block off the day of, and let me make sure the day after the deadline, my day starts later, because I know me. Because I know me. Not letting anxiety and being precious with the work let me wait until the last minute. Yeah. But here's the thing, Julian, like, what if anxiety is just part of the process, right? My first thing was, y'all have to let this be hard. Something being hard doesn't mean something has gone wrong. It's just hard. So if we're going to let it be hard, your version of hard may be you are, you're worried about your writing. You're worried about saying it the right way. You're trying to get the words to click in your head. Right? Maybe your version of hard is knowing that it takes you a minute to get yourself to sit down and start writing. Y'all, listen, when I sit down to write in the beginning for a solid 20, 30 minutes, I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I start playing games on my phone. I start scrolling Instagram and TikTok. I'm talking to myself like, why don't you just do it? Like, you could just get it over with if you just did it. You wouldn't be going through this if you just did it. That voice is still there. That critical voice should just be like, girl, you see, this is why. This is why you always stress. This is why you do this. And you know what I do? I just let her talk. Because I no longer make her a problem. Because I want you to think about, and I gendered my voices. I encourage you to do the same. Give them names, okay? But the reason why I don't make it a problem is because I'm like, that critical voice only wants the best for me. The reason why that voice is being so critical is because she wants me to finish the thing. She wants me to do the thing I said I was going to do. She is just expressing it in the best way she knows how. But if we stop and we step back, we will see that the critical voice just wants you to do the thing you said you're going to do. It just wants to know that you're going to show up for yourself. Us doing what we said we're going to do is us showing up for ourselves. And to take it even deeper, us doing what we said we're going to do is showing up for our inner child. Your inner child does not believe you anymore. Your inner child is not looking at you sideways like you just like every other adult in my life. You don't show up. Y'all, we getting deep. You don't show up. You always make promises. You just leave me hanging. Your inner child is like, I gotta yell and cuss you out because that's the only way you hear me. Go back to when you were a small child. Was that the only way you got noticed? When you were crying, when you were yelling, when you did something that the adults didn't approve of, and then they yelled or they shamed you? How did your mama get you, or whoever raised you, get you to do something? Did they yell and scold you and be like, you can't be lazy, you can't just be sitting around my house? And now you're trying to do the same thing to yourself. Did it work? Was it really effective? Like, it may have gotten you to do the thing when you were a little kid, but how did you feel doing the thing? And why do you keep doing it to yourself now? You did not like how it felt when you were 5, 7, 10. You're not going to like how it feels now. What I also hear, what people say is like, well, that's the only way for me to get myself to do something. No, that's the only way you're used to. That's the only way that you knew how to try to do a thing. What if we learned a different way? Because it is a skill set. What if we try a different way? Gentle parenting is all the rage now for a reason. Why don't you try to gentle parent yourself, your inner child? Now, here's what's going to happen when you try to take a more gentle approach. That inner child's going to be like, I don't know who you talking to, but that's you playing. That's not real. That's not who you are. You're going to try this for another week. And just like everything else, a week later, you're going to give up and we're going to go back to how we used to do things. So let's just skip it and do that. That's where the heart comes in. The heart is being willing to be like, yep, I wasn't that gentle that time. Or, oh, I find myself being anxious and feeling guilty and having some shame. Oh, I said I was going to do it, and here I am again at the last minute. It's first recognizing what you do. Once you recognize what you do, you're like, you know what? Maybe next time I could do something different. You can start making different decisions. You're not going to change overnight. It's not going to feel different overnight, but it's a practice. And so let me come back full circle, Julian. What if it's like this is your process right now? Your process is to wait to the last minute. Your process is like, oh, this is just a time where I get really anxious. Oh, this is just a part of the process where my critical voice gets really loud. Nothing has gone wrong. I'm still going to do this. What if that's just your process and it's okay? Because it still got done. You still got approved. You still can do your pilot study. So nothing has gone wrong. It's just your process. And it doesn't matter what other people think about it. It's not for them. It's for you. Let me know your thoughts about that, Julian. Okay, I'm going back up. How do you figure out the plan that works for you? You start watching your behavior, monitoring your behavior. So inside the group, here's how I find out really quickly. So every Sunday at 7 p.m., we have the Scholar Planning Routine call. It's a call that we come on and we evaluate the last 7 weeks. 7 days. So last week, right? What did you say you were going to do? Did you do it? Why not? What are you celebrating? What worked for you? What do you need to change for the next 7 days? So we spend about 10 or 15 minutes just evaluating the last 7 days. Then we spend another 10 or 15 minutes planning for the next 7 days. It's like, okay, that's in the past. We did that. Now, so for y'all, it's Thursday. Until next Thursday, what are 3 things that you can commit to accomplishing or like getting done? What are 3 things? Each of these 3 things should take you 2 hours or less to complete. So some examples would be, I am going to schedule a meeting with my chair to tell them about my updated timeline. That's number 1. Number 2, I am going to download 2 articles. And number 3, I'm going to read those articles and write a shitty paragraph for each of them. Right? So say those are your 3 things. Great. Then I say, okay, when are you going to do those 3 things? You're going to pick 3 days and you're going to block out 2 hours each of those days. So one day could actually be Sunday night. So let's say Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, 7 to 9 p.m. That's when you're going to work. Sunday night, you're going to send that email to schedule with your chair. Monday night, you're going to find those 2 articles and download them. Tuesday night, you're going to read those articles and write your shitty paragraph. And then you're done for the week because you committed to doing 3 things. But if you notice, we're on Tuesday. You still have Wednesday and then probably a little bit Thursday until we meet again. You can decide to do something extra, or you can go sit down or watch TV. They clone Tyrone something. But you can do that without guilt or shame because you did what you said you would do. Those were the 3 things. This sounds real simple, but this is what we do every Sunday. This is how I know what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Because I made it so simple, I did that on purpose, because most people are not able to do it. Even though I'm like, focus on 3 things, give me 6 hours, people are not able to do it. Because it's not about having a simple plan. There's something else coming up. Sometimes it's people feeling like, well, I know I said I would just schedule a meeting, but I thought I needed to schedule meetings for the whole year. Or I know I said that I would read 2 articles, but I didn't think that was enough. So I downloaded 20 articles and I got overwhelmed. This is how we find out what is the things that are blocking you. Now, is it helpful? You might also think like, well, I said I was going to work from 7 to 9, but I ended up working at 5 a.m. And so since it was 5 a.m. or I skipped the 7 to 9, I just didn't do anything. I am looking for what is it that's blocking you? What is it that you thought you could work at 7, but you really need to schedule it at 5? Well, that's an easy fix. Now we know that. Or you said you're going to write 2 articles, but you ended up downloading 20. Let's talk about why did you do that? Why do you need for everything to be harder? Why do you place value on 20 articles instead of 2 articles? What's stopping you from taking it 1 article at a time? I get to ask you questions every week about that. And based on how you answer those questions, it means then saying, maybe try this, like give yourself less time, give yourself 10 minutes to do an article, or give yourself like be around a writing group, right? It's in this exchange. That's what coaching looks like. Okay, let me know if that makes sense. I do the same, and I need to learn how to shut her up in my head. Diana, let your critical voice be great. She just wants to talk to you. She just want to help you. Yes. Okay, y'all. It's been an hour. I do want to tell you a little bit since y'all are still here. So tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, I am conducting a 30-day literature review workshop. In this 2-hour workshop, I am going to tell you what the purpose of a literature review is. I'm going to tell you more of the common blocks that happens from your mindset perspective. I'm going to tell you how to get organized. Like, how do you organize your literature? Where to get started. I tell you how to find articles, read the articles, how to organize your notes, how to translate your notes into actual pages of the literature review. I also give you a 30-day detailed plan so you know exactly what to do each of those 30 days. You can get that right now, 50% off, by using the link in the bio. In addition to the workshop, you're going to get a recording, you're going to get a workbook. In addition, you're going to get access to the calls, our dissertation calls for the month of August. We do 2 calls a week. I ask that you come to at least 1 call a week. On Thursdays, we do a combination of I'm teaching a topic or we're coaching. I'm asking you questions like we've been doing here. And then on Sundays, we do our planning and our writing. You need just those 2 days a week. People become whole ass doctors with those 2 days a week. Because it's about the accountability. It is about the structure. The hardest part isn't that you don't know enough to finish a literature review or dissertation. It is that you don't have the structure. Because your program probably was like, okay, you're done, class, bye. So sign up. It's $50, y'all. $50. Can you say the rates for finish your dissertation again? Yes. If you like this, if you join us for August and you like this is really cool, I want to keep joining y'all, then you can join the Finish Your Dissertation program. It is the comprehensive program for you to write your dissertation in 12 months or less. Some people do it shorter. Some people go longer. It's up to you. But if you want to follow the process, it's 12 months or less. When you get into the program, first you have a curriculum. I tell you how to organize yourself, how to structure yourself. And then I also have videos and workbooks on each chapter and section of the dissertation. Now, I'm a qualitative researcher. It's for qualitative research, mostly for folks in the social sciences. I'm not saying I don't have people outside of that, like who are doing quant or in the hard sciences in my program. I'm just saying that's who I geared it for, so that you know that, so we're upfront. So you get access to the curriculum. You also continue to get access to the dissertation weekly calls, but you also get access to business calls. I'm a business coach too, y'all, because I know y'all not doing this because y'all really just love research so much. I help you start your consulting business. You could do that extra because who am I to tell you not to be able to do that if that's how I did this process? You get access to that. You also get private monthly calls with me because I want to know what's going on. I want you to progress throughout the process. And finish your dissertation is either one payment of $3,000 or 10 payments of $300. You will not find a more comprehensive program with the results that I have for as long as I've had them. That's why it's $3,000. That's why it's $300 a month. I get this question a lot. If you finish before the 12 months, do you have to keep paying? You do not. But if you want lifetime access to it, because like I said, it includes more information than just a dissertation, then pay the $3,000 and you'll always have access. You'll have access to every time I update the program, you'll get that as well. But I don't want you spending money that you're not going to use. So if you're done, you're done. That's also the link in the bio. Okay. If y'all have any additional questions, please feel free to DM me. I am going to go eat lunch before a coaching call with a client, and I hope to see y'all tonight at the workshop. Okay, bye y'all.